Hey everyone, so here we go. This is Tuesday, April 21st. Our assignment today is to read section 9, which is titled as week 4, day 4 in your packet. So if you need to locate your social studies things, you may do so. Just pause the video and go look for your folders. Section 9 is titled Different Regions, Different Ways to Live. Different Ways of Life, rather. Although most early inhabitants settled on the North China Plain, some people did live in other geographic regions. Ways of life for settlers in these regions developed quite differently. Life in Outer China, mainly because Outer China did not provide good farmland. Fewer people settled there than in Inner China. The Tibetan Plateau was not suitable for cultivating crops, but herders could successfully raise livestock, especially yaks. The people who resided on the plateau were nomads who had to migrate frequently to find new grazing land. The animals they herded supplied many of the nomads' needs. They ate meat from the yak and made butter and yogurt from yak milk. People used yak wool to make the heavy clothing that they needed to survive the cold climate. They also wove yak hair into material for tents. You have to remember, at this time, guys, the people did not waste like we waste today. They used pretty much every part of the animal. In the northwestern deserts, the only permanent communities were on the oases, where residents built homes out of mud and grew cotton and wheat. Their main foods were wheat, noodles, bread, and mutton. The northeastern plain was too cold and dry for bountiful farming, but its prairie grass supported livestock. Early inhabitants of this region were also nomads. They raised sheep, goats, cattle, and horses. Because they were constantly migrating to find grass for their animals, they lived mostly in tents. Think about it. Tents, easy to pack up and move on to a new area. Their main food was meat, because again, they had the animals, or they would go hunting. They often invaded the North China Plain to retrieve needed supplies. Eventually, the people of Inner China built the Great Wall to protect themselves and keep these invaders out. So that's where the Great Wall of China would come from. Life in Inner China. The fertile land of Inner China supported larger, more settled populations on the North China Plain. Farmers grew mainly wheat and millet, in addition to raising cattle, sheep, oxen, pigs, and chickens. They herded cattle, water buffalo, and horses. Settlers built permanent homes out of rammed earth, which is soil tightly packed to make solid walls. So it's like bricks, basically. The Shangjing basins had limited farmland and lacked grazing land for animals such as cattle, but rice thrived in this warm, wet area. As early as 10,000 BCE, settlers could grow rice in the river valley. They also raised pigs and poultry. Nearby seas provided plentiful seafood. People established permanent houses so that they could settle in one place and tend their animals and crops. Alright, so that brings us to the end of section 9 for this particular section. You need to, again, write 5 facts. Make sure they're thoughtful facts from what I read or from what you're reading. And just send me a picture. Alright?